So I'm doing this detox over because it was apparently too long, which it was very long, but YouTube rejected it because it was too long. So I'm Christina Cantrell. I am working on this detox on Saturday morning, December 8th. I'm doing it because I am studying the forum Youth Voices and kind of interested in the way that it's designed and developed, the curriculum, the thinking behind the curriculum, and also how it creates third and hybrid spaces that bring together lived and personal experience with academic skills and knowledge building, etc. So, in doing this, I decided that detox is one of the ways that I was studying, that one of the things that I'm looking at. I'm watching a lot of kids do their detoxes, and I figured, I really ought to do one too. So here I am trying to do this detox. So the last one I talked a lot. I realized that one could do that, and I'm not sure how long these are supposed to be. So let me just jump into it. So I'm supposed to talk about what I notice, some connections I'm making, things that I'm dreaming about, and then talk about something awesome that I'm doing. So in terms of noticing, one of the things that I'm noticing are the different third spaces or hybrid spaces within youth voices that I think help to weave together sort of personal experience, personal interest, and academic skills and knowledge um, in a way that supports self-directed learning. So the first place is actually the way that a new member joins Youth Voices and creates a bio and a profile. And that's a process of really thinking through some 10 questions you have about yourself and 10 questions you have about the world. And then combining that with a visual representation of yourself to introduce yourself to the community, as well as a written representation of yourself. So I'll be looking at that. I think it's a pretty interesting process to enter a community and to introduce yourself and to allow others to see what you bring to the community. Um, and then the second space that I'm looking at is actually the way that Youth Voices is designed as a game. It's designed as an alternate reality game. I also downloaded Jane McGonigal's alternate reality game, More Better, because I know Youth Voices has been influenced by the More Better design. So I'm trying to play that and sort of see what I notice about how that framework supports um, connection building across a variety of, let's say literacies and discourses. And then the third place where I'm looking is this detox process. I think this detox process is pretty fascinating, pretty interesting, somewhat problematic in different ways, as I can see. Often detox itself is discussed within detox, and there seem to be questions and, people feeling differently about it. And anyway, I think it's a pretty fascinating third space that I'd like to look at. So there's some things that I'm noticing right now. Connections that I'm making. I'm making lots of connections with things that I'm reading. So I'm writing about that, and I won't talk about that too much here right now. Also, making personal connections. So um, one of the things that I think brings me to the Youth Voices Forum in the first place, and my interest in what's been happening here really over a great deal of time, since my colleagues have been working on this for almost 10 years, um, is really the way that it's focused on this sort of self and world construct. And I think that's because I come from a family where there are people whose school really didn't work for, never has worked for. Um, I also think sort of intelligence is often hierarchized, and people learn, think, and process information in lots of different ways. And for me, the separation between emotional and intellectual content has always been very disturbing to me, and has greatly affected people that I care deeply about in their own learning and life trajectories. So I'm interested in breaking that down. I'm interested in problematizing that in various ways and seeing what we can do about it. I feel like Youth Voices is working to do that within online spaces as well as personal face-to-face spaces, and so I'm pretty excited about the work, and that's some of the connections that I'm making within the work or trying to make. And then dream, I guess my dream is that by, um, you know, looking at Youth Voices and sharing some of the work that's happening here, there can really be some reimagining how learning can happen in schools, as well as potentially resources brought to this effort, which I think, oh, actually a third space in Youth Voices is the fact that the teachers design this space together. And they've been doing that with teachers teaching teachers over time. And I'd love to bring more resources to that effort. I think it's really important that teachers and students themselves are designing the spaces that they use and work together within. So that would be a big dream of mine, and if this study somehow contributes to attention or resources being made available to this work, then to continue to further develop it, that would be a dream that I would have. And then something awesome that I'm doing, I guess, doing this this detox myself might qualify for that at the moment. It certainly feels, I can see why one feels a little uncomfortable just talking to their computer, and lots of questions about, oh, and now I'm going to make this public. So I think that itself is sort of awesome, and I think all the people who have done it out there, just to say, I think you all are pretty awesome, and thank you for your sharing and your daily practice that you're doing, and look forward to more.